You know, these greedy extortionists who think they're like geniuses and have alpha complexes, you know, they've been trying to do extortion on me for many years. And I don't know who is leading them, and I don't really care. I need, just hopefully FBI and CIA and police detectives arrest these damn people. Because there are corruption within those departments and within government. And with, the whole thing is hooch with overreach helpers and organized crime hustlers. You know, the O-bar is the fact of bureaucratic administrative regulatory overreach, the O-bar. And at the O-bar, they've got stuff like hooch. So, the main thing is hooch at the O-bar. Honestly, they got kegs, they got Black Russian stories of death and reapers and this thing and that, but it's all about that hooch. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of fruit in there. But anyway, one of these policemen must have said, "Oh, Joe does crimes, so we'll be able to fool the law. And then it'll be easy to catch him." So they do all this coercion entrapments and try to con the reality and make it seem as though things like murder business are a norm and rape punishment is a norm. And that the police help criminals, and there's overreach protecting criminals. Well, like some out of a freaking Batman Gotham City, like reality or some shit. And then I picture him like coming back and because none of this shit flies with me. I'm not a fucking criminal. The fact is, I smoked a little pot in college, did a little drinking, before I was 21, smoked a little pot in college. And then, I lit it up a couple times, here and there. And did some bumps with friends at the nightclubs and dance clubs, you know what I'm saying? But that was the end of it. And then, I just did drugs to, get high and watch movies. I don't care about I don't care about drug dealers. We're on a little nothing level of it. Nothing paid off anywhere. Even I never heard of paying off. I'd be like, what are you talking about? We always knew if we get busted, like, we're going to jail. There was nothing extraordinary to the pot we were buying and shit. So that's all there was with it. That's the only crimes I was into, was getting a little pot to get high, to play video games and watch movies. And so, like, none of this other stuff, like, I don't do that. I am not a criminal. I'm trying to keep low key. I got morality. And yeah, we used to go to strip clubs and this and that. And, like I said, smoke pot and do some other drugs. But that was the end of it. It was all for the extra fun. We weren't into all this corrupt and supporting criminals and being like anarchists within the system and being part of corrupt government and police. So I don't know what these dumb assholes think they're gonna get. Like, I bust them out on every move they make, and then I look up all the laws and I shun the shit out of them, and I put it all on like recordings I've got like pages of laws and stuff that I post everywhere about the crimes they do and stuff. So, and it's real easy to look up on AI Google. So I'm constantly looking up the laws that they're breaking and go, why is this illegal? And then I get like the numbers and the definitions, and I do like a page on it, and then I post it up on the wall. So I bust them out for this shit. So they're sitting there still trying to con this shit. It's like they got these, like they're criminal hypocrites trying to fool the reality and make things seem like it's like more of a criminal thing than it is, when they're just a bunch of con artists trying to fool me. But I'm not falling for their bullshit. And, through it though, I learned some good stuff like Boogeyman Ham. Never take hush money because you can get blackmailed. And then, no, really though, and then they can try to get the money back. So it doesn't matter how much the money is. If you do hush money, they're going to blackmail you and get the money back. So that's worthless, and then you're basically a crime slave to them. So that ain't worth taking any money from anybody that way. I can't fall for the lawsuit stuff. I think they have overreach judges or fancy lawyers or try to, have reverse lawsuits or counter lawsuit class over here. But the thing is, I am poor, but I'm not looking to screw somebody over, to make money and sue them. I can't even make over $2,000 in the bank, so that's not even a question for me. Like, lawsuits are nothing. So they don't really have anything with me. And women, I'm over 40. I can really give a shit about a relationship. I mean, it's whatever, but I don't date women in the neighborhood as a rule of law. Or as a personal rule, actually, not a rule of law. As a personal rule, and then I watch out for scamming women, especially, I don't do the internet scene and stuff. But I'm over 40. I don't care about women that much. I'm into the entertainment, the VR, and relaxing and enjoying myself and stuff. So they don't have any vices on me. And I used to be a drug addict, but I've been clean for 8 years. I'm just waiting on Louisville to be have recreational fucking pot and just smoking cigarettes and vape. So they ain't got a goddamn thing on me, and I'm just sitting there busting them out the whole time.